Alright, so here's a project from my philosophy class called Suffering, Healing, and Values. And basically, I've chosen a selection of poems along with writing my own, just kind of about how people view death and the two different stances on it, which is acceptance and reluctance. And after each poem, I'll do a short analysis on why I chose that poem. First one is Because I Could Not Stop for Death by Emily Dickinson. Because I could not stop for death, he kindly stopped for me. The carriage held but just ourselves in immortality. We slowly drove, he knew no haste, and I had put away my labor and my leisure too, for his civility. We passed the school where children strove, at recess in the ring. We passed the fields of grazing grain. We passed the setting sun, or rather, he passed us. The dews drew quivering and chill, for only gossamer my gown, my tippet only tulle. We paused before a house that seemed a swelling of the ground. The roof was scarcely visible, the cornice and the ground. Since then, to centuries, and yet feel shorter than the day, I first surmised the horses' heads were turned toward eternity. Now, the reason why I chose this poem is because Dickinson has a very accepting view of death. As it says in the first line in the title, because I could not stop for death, which means that death didn't come during an active part of life. It means that the narrator, was able to fill all the things that they wanted to do. They put aside their labor and leisure, which means that they were done doing their work, they were done doing their hobbies. They were very accepting of when death came, and throughout the poem, it kind of like they go through their life. Passing the school where children show up at recess in the ring means that they kind of passed her childhood, or his, narrator can be any gender. Past the fields of gazing grain in the setting sun. It's kind of just like, as the days passed on, we went through work, because farming, labor, things such as that. And as they get towards her death, we pause before a house that seemed to swell in the ground. It's kind of like the mound of a grave. So it's a very soft way at looking at death, is a way you could put that, I guess. Or at least how I'm going to put it. Next one is Do Not Go Gentle Into That Good Night by Dylan Thomas. Do not go gentle into that good night. Old age should burn in rage at close of day. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Though wise men at their end know dark is right, because their words have forked no lightning, they do not go gentle into that good night. Good men the last wave by, crying how bright their frail deeds might have danced in a green bay. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Wild men who caught and sang the sun in flight, and learned too late they grieved it on its way, do not go gentle into that good night. Grave men, near death, who see with blinding sight, blind eyes could blaze like meteors and be gay. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. And you, my father, there on the sad height, curse, bless me now with your fierce tears, I pray. Do not go gentle into that good night. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Thomas has an opposite view to death, as Dickinson did. His entire poem is about trying to fight off death, trying to last longer in this world, and how, like, his father shouldn't go gentle into that good night. He should rage against it and just continue living on, and with his anger continue forward and not accept what's going to come no matter what. So his is a lot angrier view. He isn't accepting that it's time for his father to die, and without actually doing research into how old his father was and the circumstances around it. But it's often seen with a lot of people who have family members that they're close to, who their times come near, and they just can't accept that it's time for them to die. The next poem is Death, Be Not Proud by Donne. Death, be not proud, though some have called thee mighty and dreadful, for thou art not so. For those whom thou thinkest thou dost overthrow, die not, poor death, nor yet canst thou kill me. From rest and sleep, which but thy pictures be, much pleasure, then from thee much more must flow, and soon as our best men with thee do go. Rest of their bones and souls' delivery, thou art slave to fate, chance, kings, and desperate men, and dost with poison, war, and sickness dwell, and popular charms can make us sleep as well. And better than thy stroke, why swellest thou then? One short sleep past, we wake eternally, and death shall be no more, death, thou shalt die. In Donne's poem, he's kind of denoting death, saying that death isn't the ultimate. He's kind of just stating of like, death, why do you think so much of yourself. He kind of personifies death. As with all the to exist or to be adjectives there are, or verbs. Wow, I'm great at this. Anyways, basically what Donne does is that he just kind of says that death isn't the end. Especially in his last lines of, "One short sleep past, we wake eternally, and death shall be no more." He's saying that death is a short time thing. You die, and then there's more. It's like sleeping. You go to sleep, you wake up, you have a new day. So he's kind of saying that death's slave to different things, like chance. Death can't control chance or fate, or kings, though that one's kind of debatable now. And desperate men, because desperate men do desperate measures, and they kind of cause death. And he's also comparing death to like Poppy and Charms, saying that they hold the same power that death does, because those things can put someone to sleep. Actually, a lot of Poppy can kill someone, but as Donne states in this, they just wake up again somewhere else. The last poem from an actual poet besides myself is Spirits of the Dead by Edgar Allan Poe. I'm going to read it in its entirety. I'm going to read it in its entirety. And then there's 5 different sections that are like sectioned out by Roman numerals. And I'll just kind of summarize the meaning of each of those. And those meanings are why it got put into this collection. Thy soul shall find itself alone mid dark thoughts of the grey tombstone, not one of all the crowd to pry into thine hour of secrecy. Be silent in that solitude, which is not loneliness, for then the spirits of the dead who stood in life before thee are again in death around thee, and their will shall overshadow thee. Be still. The night, though clear, shall frown, and the stars shall not look down from their high thrones in the heaven, with light like hope to mortals given. But the red orbs without beam to thy weariness shall seem as a burning and a fever, which will cling to thee forever. Now our thoughts thou shalt not banish, now our visions never to vanish. From thy spirit shall they pass no more like dewdrop from the grass. The breeze, the breath of God is still, and the mist upon the hill, shadowy, shadowy, yet unbroken, is a symbol and a token, how it hangs upon the trees, a mystery of mysteries. So the first part is kind of saying of like, when you die alone, because no one else can experience the death with you. None can pry into the secrecy of it, because no one living can know what happens when someone dies. The second one, which starts in silent in that solitude which is not loneliness, saying that after death, all those who have died after or before you are now there with you. That you should be still and not do anything, just kind of follow their lead and see how the dead live. The third part, the part about the stars, is kind of saying of like, oh yeah, the stars are always something of hope and symbolism to mortals who are alive. Well, to you as the dead, they're just kind of a reminder of like, hey, this was hopeful once, now you're dead. It's kind of wearisome that it's still there as a constant reminder that you aren't involved in that life anymore. Now, the fourth part, now our thoughts thou shalt not banish, to like dewdrop from the grass. It's kind of saying, the thoughts and visions you've had, they're going to stay there. They're going to remain in other people's memories, and they'll be something constant that does exist, but from thy spirit shall they pass. They kind of evaporate from your actual body and soul into memories. Kind of just like how water evaporates from the grass. It's still there, it still exists in the clouds, but it's not solidly there. It's not like as prominent as before. Finally, the breeze, the breath of God is still. It's kind of saying, it's often used as like the breath of life God breathes into you, saying that that's still now. You don't have any breath anymore. God is not with you. You are not alive. And it straight out says the symbolism of shadowy, shadowy, yet unbroken is a symbol and a token that we don't know what's in the afterlife. It's a mystery of mysteries. You kind of just venture into it not knowing what's going to happen. And the spirits of the dead, it's poems titled, have already experienced this. So they're kind of there to help you through it and make sure that you can navigate the fields yourself. And finally, we're to the poem I wrote myself. I might do an analysis on it. Probably will, probably should. It's called Oh, I haven't titled it. We'll call it Views on Death, because that's what this entire project's about, so it works, because this poem summarizes the project. Watch as the time ticks close, wonder what you desire most, if time had fulfilled your life, or if you pass in dire strife. Those close inside draw near, forever to you be dear. Unwilling goodbyes are said, passing fearful lips like lead. Some brandish acceptance, others dwell in reluctance. Either cannot change the event, when with God's speed they're sent. Unknown is the forward path, behind hopefully many a laugh. Cherish the memories of each and every century. Depart willful of heart, knowing you aren't apart. Loved ones will remember every January to December. And in this, it kind of just goes through in the first stanza of saying, as your time comes to a close and wonder about what you wanted most, and just kind of reflect on and see if your life fulfilled those wants, and if not, if you're just kind of dying in regret. That's the word I wanted. If you're dying regretful of not being able to do as much as you wanted in your life. And you kind of draw those who you're close to, like your family, close friends, near to you, and most of the time, as Thomas wrote, they're kind of unwilling to say goodbye, which is why I kind of brought in the reference of lead, because it's like heavy, doesn't want to really pass through anything, it's just kind of a weight drop down. And the next stanza is like, oh, some people broadly accept that they are dying and that their time has drawn near, while others are just kind of like, I'm not going to accept this, it's not happening if I don't think it's happening. But then I go on and say, neither can really do anything about it. When God says they're dead, they're dead. Coming from the non-religious person. The next part is kind of like saying, you don't know what's going to happen ahead of you. No one knows what happens after death. There's theories, there's thoughts, there's beliefs, but there's no solid factual proof. So cherish the memories that you have, and have the people around you cherish those memories. And these memories should go back for like generations. You shouldn't just remember yourself. You should remember what your family, your heritage is about, and who that makes you as a person, because that's kind of what you value. And then the last part is, you should kind of leave willful of heart, like, be accepting of what's going on, and knowing that you're a part of something. You have people with you. You aren't going to die alone. Very few people truly actually die alone, because most people are hospitalized sometimes when they don't have like family or anyone to take care of them. And there is nurses and doctors who develop attachments and sentiments to people, so really, I kind of don't believe anyone dies truly alone. And the ones who have loved you will remember you from January to December. They're not going to forget about you. They're going to always think about you through the entire course of the year. Like, you can't just stop thinking about someone who's died. It's just not possible or not human. So, there you are, my wonderful philosophy project with poetry.